Well, hey, welcome in to this week's episode of Live at Liberty. We got a lot we're going to cover in this episode. We're going to talk about how not to get frustrated during a waiting season. All right, that's one of the prominent themes in Scripture, and it is one of the common experiences of Christian life. You're going to wait on God, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so we had somebody send that in. Not really a trend. I don't know. I didn't, but anyway, I thought it was a great
everybody
question.
does.
Yeah. We've had some heavy topics the last couple of weeks, so maybe this would be a good little break in the action. So, but we're going to talk about waiting on God. Got some news and notes, and then we have Valerie with the birthdays, anniversaries, and announcements. But another busy weekend here at Liberty, man. Had D-Now weekend for the students. Yep. They were all kind of sitting up there in the front with their very bright white shirts.
They look good. I like them.
The shirts were brighter than their eyes. I'll tell you that. They look tired.
Yes.
Which always happens in a D-Now weekend.
I told Levi, because they started filling in like the third row first, and I told Levi, I said, they look a little reluctant to sit in the spitting section.
Yeah. When they were coming in, I was asking, the different groups all, if you don't know what D-Now is, they go and they stay in homes around the church, and then they converge with some other churches and have worship, and then they go back to these homes over the weekend and do just really good discipleship. It's a powerful weekend. But as they were coming in, I was asking the different groups, hey, how long did y'all sleep? And I got like 2 hours and 3, that kind of thing. And I joked with some of them. I said, hey, you can make it up during my sermon, right? So, but I will say this. I didn't see one kid asleep during my sermon.
There you go.
That's really good. So they were hanging in there, and a bunch of them are taking notes, man. So that's cool. That's encouraging. So very successful D-Now weekend for the students. Man, we had a bunch of people here Sunday and Thursday night.
Yeah.
I think between Thursday night and Sunday, we had over 600 people.
Yep. That's incredible.
In the church. So,
in the preschool alone, I was just telling Jody, we had 50 kiddos, just kiddos.
Isn't that incredible?
We were packed.
That's a bunch of
packed.
bunch of little kids, man.
Yeah, it was.
How'd y'all do that?
Well, we had 11 in this room, 12 in this room. Like it was a little bit of chaos.
So I think your walls are coming down next.
Yeah,
Scott.
Yeah. Oh boy, I was in a meeting last week, and the space issue came up. We are hitting the ceiling and some things, so we're gonna have to come up with some solutions in the near future. But anyway, we did have 2 baptisms. Baptism number 42 and 43. Number 42, Kenny Bright. Congratulations to him. He's baptized on Thursday night in the Celebrate Recovery service. And Easton Edwards was baptized on Sunday. Easton came out of the doc ministry.
Yes,
right?
he is. So exciting.
Good stuff going on there. Some congratulations in order. How about those Murray County Lady Indians?
Yes.
I'm telling you.
State championship, man. That's awesome.
It was really cool.
That's
It was really
that's
cool.
a big achievement. That's you put in a lot of work to get to that level.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man, and just to say you're a state champion, I mean, that's something very few people can say,
Oh, yeah.
to have a state championship. Shannon and Kylie took my mom to buy her dress for the wedding. And so I was kind of at the house alone. So, man,
You were
just
able to
turned
watch
it on
it.
the TV, got a chance to watch it. And, man, that was the same team they played last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that team really dominated them last year, man. Those girls are athletic, they are long, they are fast, and you could just tell it just really discombobulated Murray County, kind of took them out of their game because it was a game at a different speed. This year, it looked like the first half was going to go that way again. And Murray County was down by 3 at the end of the half. But Coach Tipton, who I'm known for a long time, taught 2 of his kids when I was over at Christian Heritage. One of them is attending church here now, Tyler and Alyssa, who sang on Sunday. So, but Coach Tipton, man, he's just such a great coach, and you could tell he was constantly slowing down the team. And I think I can't remember the name of the team they played. I think they only scored like 13 or 14 points the whole second half.
Okay.
And so, man, and won by 3. I mean, it was just...
I think it was at 51-48.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, man, congratulations to the Lady Indians. So I got an interesting question here for you. If you could be a state champion in something, what would you be a state champion in? And I'll tell you, I'll give you. I'll lead off with mine. I've always played sports and worked out, done different things. God never made me to run. And I've tried the running thing.
Yeah.
And have y'all ever seen those people running down the road? It just looks so smooth and so easy. I wish I could do that because I feel like when I run, it's like a Clydesdale. You know what I'm saying? It's just very boom, boom. I just wish for a moment. They talk about runner's high. Never felt that.
Never got it.
Never
Running
felt
gives me a headache.
Really?
for real.
That's
I don't know if it's the
interesting.
pounding on the page.
Yeah.
Yeah, running gives me a headache.
So Keela ran track forever.
Oh, she's fast.
Yeah.
But there's like, you can either be a Clydesdale or you can be graceful in your running, right? It's about the technique of just being able to move with the way you plant your feet and the way your body leans. And there's so much that goes into being a graceful runner and having speed.
And the ability to breathe helps too.
Yeah.
You gotta forget. Once you keep going, you forget.
No matter how pretty you look, you got to breathe,
Yeah.
man. Maybe that's
You
my
can't
problem.
hold your breath 100 yards. No.
Hilarious.
Oh, all right. So, Scott, what would you be state champion in?
Oh
if you could be a
goodness!
state champion.
If I could be a state champion, I told him earlier. She said, "Don't do the Christian. I'd be the state champion of baptism."
He goes, I would
Yes.
do baptism. And I was like, Scott.
It's the WWE
if it
version
was
of
a
baptism.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're the WWE
yeah.
version.
yeah.
If y'all have not
it's
seen that picture
top rope,
circulating.
bam! Like Brian literally had to when I first came on staff and I started baptizing people. Brian's like, "Hey, you're gonna have to take it easy on some people. You're gonna hurt some old ladies or something."
You were close to DDTing people into the
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just excited about what I'm doing. It's like, man, bam.
Oh man. Jody, what about you? What would you be state champion
I
in?
think for me, I wanted like tennis maybe. And I say that because I never did sports. I never even attended a school that had a sports team. And so I think tennis would be something and maybe the spelling bee. Because like once autocorrect happened,
bee.
I'm finished.
Wow.
I don't know how to,
yeah.
like I'm done. I can't finish or spell to save my life, even like simple stuff. And so I feel like maybe if I tried a little harder and turned off autocorrect, I would be a little bit better. Maybe, but tennis or spelling bee, those would be my two.
So I tried tennis once in middle school, but I was a softball player.
Okay.
So my first
Really?
time, I played softball all the way
Didn't know
through
that.
co-ed.
Yeah.
So, but I tried tennis when I was at Gladden in middle school, and my first swing, I knocked it across the 4-lane. So I never did tennis. I was
That would
not.
be
I
out.
was not. Yes.
Maybe not.
That would be out.
So would you sub if Bryson was like, "Hey, I need somebody to step in tonight"? Would you go
Oh,
and
it's
play?
been so long. Absolutely not.
Okay. Well, I tried
It's
Bryson.
like riding
I
a
tried.
bicycle,
Sophie
Melissa.
probably would. You know, Sophie, that was her thing too. She played all the way through high school. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the idea of like things being thrown at me really fast. I'm out. I don't
So
have
you
the
talking about
coordination.
spelling bee.
Yeah.
So I always like to see the last two words in the national spelling
They're
bee because
crazy.
man, it's tough. I can't remember if I've mentioned this before, but I feel like I have. So just go with it if I have. So I saw one of the last words on spelling bee one time, tripped up a kid. The word was H.
Like the letter?
H. How would you spell H?
ACH.
Is that ack?
I think it knocked like 2 or 3 kids out.
I didn't
But
even know
the
that was a
last
real word.
the
I just thought it
winning
was like
word
a sound.
H. Yeah, you talk about and what those kids are so brilliant. They've got these huge words, and they gave them the word H, and they were looking just like you're looking at me right now.
ATC.
I messed up the
CH?
word receipt today, so I'm not
That's
getting
close.
anywhere.
H EITCH H
Ah, okay.
EITCH.
Like now that you're saying, I can see it and it makes sense, but I would have never.
Can you imagine being
Not
that
happening.
kid? I won my spelling bee in my class. I won my spelling bee in my school. I won the spelling bee in the district. I won the spelling bee in the state. Here I am, national spelling bee. I'm the last 2 kids up here, and you give me H.
And just gone.
Yeah, that'd be a
I just
tough
wonder
word.
I just wonder how many times he got his lunch took from him.
Tough word to get
To-
knocked
yeah.
out on.
That's interesting. Yeah.
All right, Melissa, state championship.
Dun, dun,
You know,
dun.
we started this
Softball.
podcast.
She's saying softball.
This portion of
It's
the
brought to you
podcast
by-
is supposed to let you know to get to know us, right? Get to know us. I would totally be a champion of micro wrestling.
Yes, you said it.
I hesitated. Austin told me I should just change altogether.
I could see Melissa coming off a top rope with her.
Austin actually left the room just now. He just walked out.
If you've never been to watch micro wrestling, you should go. Totally
And
worth
I
it.
will vouch for you that through the years that I've known you, y'all go to some micro wrestling a lot.
Yes.
I can't. Can we take a break? Oh my
man.
gracious.
Oh,
Goodness.
You are amazing and
Yeah.
wonderful, and I love you.
you are a state champion
Our
anyway,
next
Melissa.
staff outing, we're totally all going.
Who needs an escape room? That's right.
Yes.
You just been like, what's happening in preschool, y'all?
Wrestling ring in the backyard.
We may be uncovering. We may be uncovering something here that needs. So you have animals at home.
I'm not sure where this is going, but
And two of your prized animals are what?
minis. Are you talking about what we were going to name my farm?
No.
Oh, we're going to have to take a break.
I'm telling you. And now Valerie with the birthdays.
Oh goodness.
Oh man.
Oh,
Okay, Valerie.
that's it, yo.
Do the birthdays and anniversaries. We'll be right back.
Okay, welcome to the most exciting part of the podcast, which is me reading for you birthdays and at times stumbling through names. I apologize in advance and always when that happens, as well as our announcements. So let's get started. For birthdays, we have Josh Pilcher, March 18th, Bo Garner, also March 18th, Brandon Pelfrey, March 19th, Scott Young, March 19th, Tate Albertson, March 19th, Laura Long, March 20th, Rob Hoffbauer, March 20th, Peggy Osmus on March 21st, Brandon Center, March 21st, Katie Shady, March 22nd, Jamie Hawkins, March 22nd, and Danny Brown on March 23rd. Now for our announcements. Memorial service for Joe Cooper will be held on Saturday, March 21st at 11 a.m. in the sanctuary. Following the service, a meal will be served in the fellowship hall. Please continue to keep Cecilia and the family in your prayers during this time. Social Sunday. Join us for Social Sunday on March 22nd in life groups. During the life group hour, each class is invited to bring breakfast food items and enjoy a special time of fellowship together. This is a great opportunity to connect, share a meal, and spend time building relationships within your life group. If you're not currently part of a life group, this is a wonderful opportunity to visit a class, get to know each other, and begin making meaningful connections. Easter Jam Run and Tell It Family Experience and Color Run is going to be on Sunday, March 29th, starting at 5 p.m. Easter Jam Run and Tell It is an Easter experience big enough for the whole family. Join us on Sunday, March 29th, as we explore the colors of Easter through the Gospels. By the end of the night, you will quite literally be covered in Jesus. Get ready to go run and tell his story as we prepare our hearts for worship this Easter. We've started our 90-day tithing challenge, but it's never too late to join in. The challenge is to cut 10% from your budget and give it through the offering from Sunday, February 1st to May 3rd. See what God will do. CR Golf Tournament. Register in the Liberty app for the upcoming Celebrate Recovery Golf Tournament to be held on April 25th with a rain date of May 2nd. With the link, you can sign up with the link in the app, you can sign up to play or donate and take part in supporting this important ministry in our church and community. Discipleship journals. Just as a reminder, the new Liberty Discipleship Journals are still available in the foyer. This is a great tool to help you learn to read the Bible and hear from God in the new year. The 6x9 journal is $15 and the 8x10 size is $20. Again, you can visit the Liberty app for instructions and info and a reading plan. Spring Place Campus Egg Hunt and Candy Collection. We're now collecting peanut-free candy stuffed eggs for our upcoming Spring Place Campus Egg Hunt that will be held on Wednesday, April 1st. If you would like to help, please place your donated eggs in the wooden collection bin located in the foyer. We will be accepting donations through Sunday, March 29th. We will begin collecting our Annie Armstrong Easter offering starting this Sunday and will continue throughout the month of April. This offering supports North Georgian missionaries as they share the gospel and plant churches across the United States and Canada. Please prayerfully consider how God would lead you to give. And finally, Cemetery Cleanup Day will be on Saturday, March 28th, beginning at 9 a.m. We invite anyone who is able to come out and help us care for the cemetery grounds. Please meet at the cemetery that morning and bring any lawn care tools or equipment you may have to help with the work. Cemetery address is 4410 Tibbs Bridge Road in Dalton, Georgia. And now for our sign-off, I am going to invite some special guests to hand it back over to Brian.
Thanks for watching. Back to you, Brian.
Well, thanks, Nora and Navy. You guys, a welcome break to help us get refocused.
There we go.
Sorry about that.
I had press record and I stepped out to go listen to something really quick.
Oh,
So
man.
I came back to an interesting.
You left
an
the room.
interesting
We know. We
So much
saw-
chaos
we
and
saw
confusion.
that.
But by the time you watch this, I will have known what it is, and it will all be edited together.
Oh, boy.
So what a weird timeline.
Yeah. So because we lost control in that last segment, I didn't finish some of the news and notes I had. So real quickly, just a couple of things. So we also want to say congratulations to newly promoted Whitfield Fire Department Captain Scott Brock.
Let's go.
How about old Scott Brock? That's pretty awesome right
Congratulations.
there. Yeah, I just saw that, right? Like, I think that happened this morning, right before we filmed this. So in the Liberty Sports report, softball begins next week.
Yeah, they got canceled last night.
Yeah, I went to my Bible study last night, and I saw the lights on, and because I thought they were supposed to start last night, and I thought, boy, that it was cold. I thought that's a miserable game if they're out there playing. So I did find out they didn't play last night. So in bowling, how about old Liberty 2? Went 3-1 against Valley Baptist. Way to go, Liberty 2. Liberty 1, rough night. Apparently they lost a lot of close games. 1-3 versus Lifegate. Gary Abraham and James Pilcher led the scoring this week for Liberty 2. Liberty 1 has a record of 8-8, and Liberty 2 is 6-10. So, and Jimmy's still looking for the offerings to increase so we can get some NIL money and get some better bowlers in here. There you go. So, Jimmy, you're just going to have to wait. And that transitions us into our topic today. Jimmy is waiting on better bowlers. And so let's talk about waiting on God. This is something somebody sent in. We invited everybody to send in their trends that they're seeing. Please continue to do that. We've got a bunch of them to cover. But somewhere in the midst of that, somebody sent us one I think is a good change up for this week. We've had a couple of heavy weeks here. But how not to get frustrated in a waiting season. Waiting is a part of life, right? So let's find out how patient the staff is. And I'm just going to ask the questions. I'm going to exclude myself because we all know where my patience is, right? I'm I'm about a 1 on a scale of 1 to 10, right? So
1 being the worst, right?
yeah, 1 being the worst. I'm probably a 0.8 if you
Well, I
really
thought you
want to
meant.
be honest about it. So
He fills his own cup.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Man, I feel like I can't laugh too hard. But anyway, you're starving. Man, you're starving. All you've had is like one little thing to eat all day. You go to your favorite restaurant, and there's a wait. What's the cutoff? Will you wait 45 minutes at your favorite restaurant? Jody's out.
I'm out.
You're out at 45 minutes.
I would go to the gas station and get a bag of chips before I'd wait 45 minutes.
Did you make it 45 minutes, Scott?
I think I could.
Okay, 40. I'll
Yeah.
give it 45 minutes.
Yeah, I give it that because I know what's waiting on me, right?
There you go. Melissa,
No,
you're out at 45
I'm
minutes?
out. I'm out.
Austin?
Man, we've talked about Tremont Tavern on here one time before, and yeah, I'd wait more than 45 minutes. I actually purposely starve myself all day for that meal when I
For
know
that
I'm going.
place.
Yeah, just so it's that much better.
Hey, y'all be surprised. There's a restaurant in Pigeon Forge. We went to eat breakfast, and the wait was an hour, and I waited.
That is pretty impressive.
Congrats.
And honestly, it's more from a practicality standpoint because when you're up there,
You're not
you
getting
know
anything.
every restaurant you go to is going to be like that. So anyway,
So, I mean, we grew up waiting what felt like an eternity every Sunday after church. Like, we would always just go, like, that was our one time we ate out is after church. And most Sundays we went somewhere, and I felt like we waited 45 minutes everywhere we went because that was just
yeah, back in the day, it felt that way. I
Yeah.
think Ryan's ruined all that. Remember Ryan's, where you go and had the
think
buffet,
I-
but you went through the little turnstile things to
Yeah.
get your tray.
The only time I ever went to Orion's was on a school trip, and my stomach was just like not having a great day that day. So I didn't eat at Ryan's.
But that was the thing. Ryan's, there's almost like never a wait, except you just had to wait through the line. Once you're in there, dude,
But
it was
isn't
like,
that kind of a bad sign when there's not a wait
well,
for
it's a
something?
huge restaurant.
I know, but
And you always got ice cream at the end,
I
like,
don't
as
know,
much
man.
as you wanted. That's what I liked about
I
it.
think the good things are worth waiting for.
Ryan's was like the precursor to what's the big buffet everybody does now?
Golden Corral.
Yeah, like Ryan's.
Sorry, also gross.
Yeah, there you go. So,
I can't do it.
anyway,
I just watch everybody eat.
all right. We all know the old phone, man, wants to update, right? And it says it's going to take 2 hours. Are you hitting delay?
Yeah,
I mean,
because it
delay,
always
delay,
messes your
delay.
phone up. It's
Yeah.
not a matter of it taking 2 hours or needing to do it overnight. It's just like your phone's always worse.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's why I don't do it.
Just let it do it.
You don't care. I'd put on auto update, and then it'll still ask me, and I'm like, why are you asking me this?
Yeah.
I've already made the decision.
I
Every
delay
computer,
it and
every
delay it and
computer in the
delay it.
church wants to update every Sunday morning.
Oh yeah.
Man, that's a bad time to update. Disney World. What is the one ride you will wait for?
As your honorary Florida girl,
Disney expert.
listen, I will wait for the Carousel of Progress because it's delightful. If you don't know what that is,
Carousel.
it's my favorite ride at
Who
Disney.
waits for the Carousel of Progress?
nobody, 'cause-
it literally is like the Dukes of Hazzard. You
It
jump
is.
through the window
Yeah.
while it's moving.
It's
right?
so fun. Okay, but that's my favorite. And Maverick likes the big like golf ball at Epcot. That's where we're at, people. I will wait for Pirates of the Caribbean, but what we do is we go get like turkey on a stick or whatever. Like we get lunch and then we just eat in line, and then we have the little flip like heads up game that we'll play, and we'll get everybody involved. So like if we have to wait, we're having people participate in the waiting with us, and so we try to use our time wisely.
I got you.
But Pirates of the Caribbean, I will wait for.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's a good one. It smells weird in there.
I have no sense of smell.
My girls were the first ones to alert me to that. It's a strange. It's like a.
Is it like the chlorine or
I
the
don't know. It's not like chlorine.
the
It's
smoke going off from
kinda
the
got
ship?
this sweet, weird, almost like they flavor the water with maple syrup, kind of.
That's
Well,
the
they
fog machine.
They do
Is
the
that
air.
what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Disney does the air with baked cookies, like the
For
smell.
real?
Yeah, it's in essence. So when you're going down Main Street, it's fresh
Is that why
baked
you want to
cookies.
eat so much while
Yeah.
you're there? That makes
That's
sense.
dangerous for your lungs.
Little insight for you,
Maybe we need
sponsor.
to do that here in the church. Some blow baked cookie smells into the. You've never been to Disney, Scott?
Can we do that on our next staff outing?
CR,
No.
the CR anniversary. We need to
I'll
get
stay
Scott a trip to
Scott.
Disney, right?
I have never been to Disney. No.
You're not missing anything. I'm sorry.
I've been once, and it was enough.
I'll tell you this: you're not a person who likes to wait. It's gonna be a bad day.
Well, and not only that, like my first airplane ride just did me in. So I'm not one to like. I don't want to get on something and go round and round in a circle. Just no, I'm good.
Austin, about you?
I've been to Disney twice, unfortunately, both against my will. But the one silver lining, which it's like hardly even a silver lining, was we went to, I think it's at Hollywood Studios, the Rise of the Resistance Star Wars ride.
Oh, yeah.
So I waited with my brother-in-law, my niece, and Nora in line, half of it in the pouring rain for 2 hours because there was nothing else to do. It's like you can wait in line for this ride, or you can stand around and do nothing all day.
Yeah.
So that was kind of.
I think the only reason that I would go to Disney was as if you dressed me up as John the Baptist and I got to preach the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
Yep.
Right in the middle of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh man. Though right over there, I tell you what, we took Kylie. That's what she wanted to do for her college graduation gift this past summer, and the new Guardians of the Galaxy ride, worth the wait, man. That one was incredible. This is an Austin question, then we'll move on to our topic, right? Okay, you walk into your favorite coffee shop, which is
my house right now.
oh my god,
Oh, wow.
outside of your house. All right.
Well,
You got one in Cleveland. You told me about 50
I know
times.
I'm never really in Nashville to go to this place, but Crema Coffee in Nashville is
All right, you
top
walk
tier.
in there. How many people have to be in line before you walk out? You would wait for 3,
Yeah,
5,
yeah,
8,
yeah,
10,
yeah. It would have to be like 20 to not.
20 people in line.
It's so fast. There's never been a long line when I go in there, but there's always a bunch of people, so it's just really efficient and it's really good. But yeah, I mean, I'd be like, 20, 25 people probably want to go somewhere
Well, I
else.
tell you, what everybody's going crazy for right now is that 7 brew thing over in Dalton. People don't
yeah.
people don't mind causing a wreck for that one.
So I waited in a line of about 25 at the Chatsworth Bakehouse this past weekend.
Oh,
I
yeah, I
did.
saw
I
that
did.
was a
One thing
happening
that
spot.
helped was we had several church families in there too, so it was like people to talk to. Like
Was it
I
good?
did. I did wait. They were out of like the scones and the
had
cinnamon rolls, but yeah.
So what'd you
So,
get?
got cookies, biscuit, and a brownie.
Like a biscuit, like a
Like
biscuit
a big
biscuit, like a
cat head
breakfast
biscuit.
Oh,
Yeah, and
okay.
they had homemade jam. It
Come
was
on.
very good. It was very
for real.
good. Very, very good. They don't open back up till tomorrow
I
morning.
say tomorrow morning.
So okay, go ahead.
No, I was in my head. I was like, "Oh, we have staff tomorrow. We could bring it in, but we have staff today." Just kidding.
Yeah, staff
I
day.
got very
Today's
excited,
Tuesday.
and then it was.
All right, so it is amazing the things that we will wait for. We'll wait for food, we'll wait for rides, we'll wait for all kinds of things. That's part of life. But when you wait for God, that's part of the experience. Some of the emotions when you have to wait for God. What would be 2 or 3 words you'd use for emotions? I wrote the first book I wrote was called The Walk, and in there I talk about how God is frustratingly slow. Right? It's just the frustration of waiting on God sometimes. What would be a word you would use to describe the emotions of waiting?
I think waiting can be dreadful sometimes. I mean, just to be honest.
Why am I waiting?
Yeah.
Is it ever going to end?
Yeah,
right?
the mystery of
Yeah.
the whole thing. Yeah.
It's a good one. Dreadful.
I think we all think about frustration, but I have even experienced anxiety in the waiting.
I think confusion.
That's a good one.
Because you really don't like you're like you're doing everything that you know to do, right? And then God is silent, and you're just like confused with what's going on. What are you doing? Why am I having to experience this?
You think one of the reasons maybe for that confusion sometimes is because we compare our experience to other people?
Oh,
Yes.
They got an answer.
Yes.
God did
Yeah.
it, you know?
Yes.
So,
Well, and like with social media too, you just see things constantly happening, or at least like the appearance of things happening all the time, and so it just feels like you're the only one waiting
Yeah.
sometimes. When
That's
it's
why I had
not true.
lonely. That was
Yeah.
mine because I like you feel like you're waiting on God, and so He's deserted you. That's your own interpretation of what's happening, or like you said, everybody else seems to have it all together. So then you just keep isolating yourself and pulling yourself into your own little bubble or your own narrative that's not necessarily true, but it does isolate you. And so I think waiting can make you lonely sometimes.
yeah, here's the amazing thing. All the things that we just mentioned, the isolation, the confusion, the dread, all those, the frustration, if you read the book of Psalms, all those emotions are in there when you're waiting on God.
Yep.
So it's incredible how these emotions, even though that's so much a part of the experience, is inspired scripture to let us know He knows our sorrows. He knows our weaknesses. He knows our frailty and all this.
My intrusive thoughts almost caused me to sing a Michael Jackson song just then. You were not alone. So I guess it won after all. It's like, that just tells you
There it is.
where my head's at.
Break
That's
out
the
in
first
song.
thing that I thought.
That song is not in the Bible, right? But it is good. All right, it's good. So,
It's not up there for me. But
so here we go. You know,
one of
the things that when you are in that season of waiting, and this person talked about the frustration in their question, is, you know, I say it all the times. You can't let your emotions become a theologian. You can't let your emotions inform your faith. Bible verses that talk about waiting. What are some of your go-to places in Scripture? You go, man, I'm going to peg this verse. I'm going to meditate on this verse. I'm going to put it on my mirror, and I'm going to wait on God. What do y'all have?
I want to jump in before anybody else steals mine because it's very likely that someone else has this.
Probably.
But Isaiah 40:31, and I'll tell you why. See, I knew. Oh, was that yours?
No, it's not mine,
Okay.
but that is one of them.
Okay. It says, but they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not be faint. And I just think it's, you know, in light of what you, like as we went around the table talking about what emotions and feelings come to mind, like when we think about waiting, it's like saying that we'll be strengthened. And that we really need to learn how to wait, and that waiting is like a crucial part of the Christian walk if we're really going to walk it right. And so it's just, you know, there's so many examples in Scripture that just show us that God's ways are not our ways.
It's good.
So piggybacking off of, because you're talking about strength. So I'm going through the book of Psalms in the discipleship journal group now. So I've got Psalms 27:14, wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart and wait. So that just reminds me that in the whole time, like waiting requires strength and strength that I don't have. Yeah. Like I have to even lean on Him in a time of waiting just for the strength to wait. So,
man, you know, the verse 13. So I wrote a list of verses in here, but verse 13, right before that one says, I believe that I shall look upon the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Yeah. It's almost like when you talk about in that restaurant, I just work the wait because I know it's going to be good, right? Yeah. Sometimes I love the increased faith of that verse. Yeah. I believe that I shall look upon the goodness. He's going to do something good, and that'll sustain you through that. So that's good. Will else? Bible verse.
So Philippians 1:6, it says, I am sure of this, that he who began a good work in you will bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ. And so when I'm in a waiting moment, I look at, man, the hope of, like the restaurant, I'm looking at the end process, right? And I know that it's God who began the work, and He won't leave me where He found me, right?
Good.
He will see the work through. I just have to be patient and wait on Him and not get ahead of what He wants, because if I begin to look around and look at everybody else at how things are going for them, and I'm not patient waiting on, okay, God, what do you have for me today? Like the work that you've already began, let me continue in that until you give me something new.
It's good. Jody, what about you?
One verse I find myself going to a lot is Isaiah 43:1. But now this is what the Lord says, He who created you, Jacob, He who formed you, Israel, do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I've summoned you by name. You are mine. And I love it because I feel like He's addressing Jacob in his humanness, knowing like, hey, this is going to be hard. This is not going to be fun. But then He also says, but I've created you to be Israel, and I've created you for this. And so I love the part where He says, do not fear, because that's where I usually am in waiting. I'm fearful of time, fearful of circumstance, fearful of anxiety. Like I create all of this in my own head. And so I love that He's like, I know you're going to do this, but I'm going to summon you and remind you who you are anyway. And I feel like that summoning is God just saying, hey, this is my time. This is what I'm calling you to do. And so trust that I have called you, and I'm going to do it again. And so I just keep clinging to that, going, okay, are you in your flesh, or are you in your identity in Christ right now? Because it is so easy
Good.
to go back to who you were and not be, and then be reminded of who you actually are.
Man, powerful verse on waiting. The Book of Lamentations, and you put this in the context because Jerusalem has just fallen. Jeremiah is about to be carried off into captivity. This is about to set off years of the promises of God being put on pause, right? And Jeremiah knows kind of the rest of his life it's not going to be realized. And so in that smoldering heap of disappointment, God gives Jeremiah a word. He says, the Lord is good to those who wait for him, the soul who seeks him. Man, just in the midst of that, he's like, man, you still to wait on the Lord. And then Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. That's don't let your emotions be your theologian. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will straighten out your path. So, man, that's good. We got to realize when we're waiting on God, God is still working. He's refining our faith. He works in his timing. Sometimes God, when you wait, he's refining what you're asking for. Yeah. He's kind of guiding your heart in prayer. I think a lot of people think that idea of God will give you the desires of your heart, which is what the book of Psalms says. I think they think that means God will give you whatever your heart desires. But it really means God will give you what your heart should desire. And sometimes as you pray, it's getting in sequence with the will of God and what he wants to do. And you also got to realize sometimes when you wait, God's working on other people. There's a lot of other pieces of the puzzle in light of this. So let's go to a Bible story, man. Abraham is a story of both consequence and reward for a guy who would not wait in line.
That's a very nice way of putting it.
We have both the birth of Ishmael and the birth of Isaac, right? We also have the sacrifice of Isaac. That story, man, how's that inform your faith of when you do get ahead of God, you're not willing to wait, what could happen?
Well, the promise was Isaac because of the impatience. Here come Ishmael. Well, then the result of trying to do everything on their own was generations of conflict then. So I think when Abraham got to the point of the Lord had brought him to this place of where he could trust him enough that he could take Isaac up for that sacrifice. But that was a long process. So anytime that we try to do it, like there's all the time going to be problems that God didn't intend to be in the picture, but we brought into the picture because we couldn't wait.
Yeah. And those problems can last a while.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I think one thing, like in that moment where when God comes and says, hey, this is what I'm going to do, instead of focusing on the outcome, focus on obedience to what? Because if I focus on the outcome, then I'm going to want to do what I can do to make that outcome come to fruition without God, right?
Yeah.
But man, if I practice obedience, the Lord's molding me and shaping me to the outcome so that I'm exactly where God wants me to be when I get there. And man, but so many times our path looks like it's like we God says it's a straight line if you do this, and we're like, ooh.
Yeah.
And man, just practicing obedience of what God said already, right? And you reach the desired outcome that he has for your life. But so many times we complicate it.
Yeah. I know you said you're like a 0.08 out of 10. I'm probably maybe even lower because I've always been horrible at waiting. But I think a lot of times when we get in that place where we're frustrated about waiting for whatever it is, whether it's something short term or long term, I mean, it's like, especially when we look at it from a spiritual standpoint, is that frustration really comes from being fixated on the wrong thing. You know, it's like a lot of times we look at the destination or the promise and those things matter because you really don't have a journey unless there's a destination. And so, you hear people say all the time, well, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. I think it's about both, really.
Yeah.
They're both important parts of the story, but really where we find that peace and we find that joy and that ability to wait and wait well and gather strength and really see the point of the whole thing is when we realize that the Lord is really the prize and that we already have the main thing if we have Christ. And so that, I mean, it doesn't make the pain of the physical, elapsation of time. Is that even a word? I don't know. Go look it up.
It is now.
Elapsing of time. I don't know. Any easier or, because like we're still human and we still struggle with that. But I feel like that's what the Lord has really taught me in a lot of my waiting, which in some way has felt like my whole life. You're always waiting on something, but it's just to get my eyes off of where I'm going and just look at Him. And it just makes things a whole lot more enjoyable.
Yeah.
I think we get confused sometimes because we think that we should be comfortable in the waiting. Like in waiting rooms, we complain about the chairs or we complain, we just want to be comfortable. And God never promised us to be comfortable. He called us to be sheep and sheep are obedient and they listen and they seek after the Father. And I found that waiting is a lot easier when I'm listening and not maybe moving or doing too much. But this might just be my own problem, but I tend to put a period where God wants a comma because that comma is really hard to wait for then what's going to happen next. And so I'm like, oh, we're done. Okay. Because I do get uncomfortable. And so I kind of stop the narrative and don't let God continue what He's doing because I'm uncomfortable. I'm impatient. I'm getting nervous. And so I take the reins back and it's like, no, you're a sheep. You're a sheep. But I've just come to realize He's so much more patient with me than I ever am with Him. And so how much have I missed out on because I stop the work, I stop what He's trying to do because I'm starting to get really restless and uncomfortable. So,
man, I'll, while we wait, I don't think waiting means doing nothing. I give you a great, really powerful Bible passage here, but man, I do want to kind of end, everybody just kind of give a short story of a time you had to wait on God. But one of the most insightful passages for me, who does not enjoy waiting, is when I was going through the book of Daniel and came across a passage where Daniel prays, God gives him a vision, tells him what to do, and then it's delayed for 3 weeks. And the Bible says that Daniel fasted and prayed for 3 weeks. And then here's the amazing thing about what when this happens. He says, "O Daniel, man greatly loved, understand the words I speak to you, and stand upright, for now I have been sent to you." And when he had spoken this word to me, I stood up trembling. Then he said to me, "Fear not, Daniel. From the first day that you set your heart to understand and humbled yourself before your God, your words have been heard." So he says from day one, God was working, that you started praying about this. But listen to this. He said, I have come because of your words. The prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. And so he talks about like a battle that he went into in the spiritual world that delayed the answer, which is mind-blowing to me. That how does that work? I don't know. Maybe that's a podcast for another day. But I'm just telling you, that's what it says. It says, "But Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, for I was left there with the kings of Persia, and came to make you understand what is to happen to your people in the latter days, for the vision is for days yet to come." And so, man, just the application of that verse to realize sometimes when you pray for something, God sends the word out. He's going to do it. But maybe there are some even spiritual things that the Bible sometimes calls us to persevere in prayer. Luke 18 talks about praying and persevering. 1 Thessalonians 5:17, pray without ceasing. So don't give up. And man, you don't do nothing, but man, we do persevere in prayer. So let's end on this. Just maybe some short stories around the table of a time in which you waited on God. What were the spiritual disciplines you used during that season? What did God teach you in the waiting? Who wants to go first?
So I kind of feel like I'm in a waiting period now. Like I've been seeking some things just spiritually, just for myself. So, but in the waiting period, there's been a couple of things that the Lord has already started revealing to me. Is one is what my relationship with control looks like. Like, I mean, that's been a real conviction for me, and it's been a real eye opener for me. But in that waiting time, like Scott had said earlier, like it's to continue to do the things I know to do, praying, worshiping, like just the obedience of just what the walk looks like every day, like seeking his will instead of trying to make him fit mine. But, you know, we started this discipleship journal group, and I'm seeing the Lord really move in it. Like I'm seeing like truth to be revealed but like just even that has really helped me in my waiting period, because it's taken the focus off of me. Because, you know, we didn't talk about anger has been one of the emotions that you associate in the waiting period. But, you know, if you think about it, anger is the most dominant emotion that we have. It takes over everything. True. And when you think about it, what it comes back to is that I didn't get the expected result. Like and it's really about like, because everyone's not doing what the idolizing of me is about. And so it's been really good for me to work through these things, but to keep doing the things I already know to do, because it has changed my focus. It has changed, like I'm focused now on the Lord and not me. And in that I've saw fruit from the group that I'm in of just how he's working in their lives, which is revealing more to me probably than it is to them. So
for me, it was, man, when COVID hit, I wasn't on staff. I wasn't on staff yet. And man, Celebrate Recovery is going good. We're running about 150 people. And then all of a sudden everything stops to a dead halt. We're having to do live streams from home. We're having to teach lessons from, like, we're having to jump through all of these hoops just to keep people connected. And man, when we first had our first parking lot service back here at the church, there's like 3 people showed up and the leaders. And man, it was like, that sucked the life out of me. But do you remember texting me? You said, you texted me after you left because you were there, and you said, Scott,
did I text you and say, make sure you turn the heat off?
You texted me and said, Scott, all God has called you to do is be faithful. And man, I held on to that. And man, I just, like you said, I just continued to be faithful with what I knew to do and leave the rest up to God. And man, it's just been, it was in those moments, though, that God was preparing me for coming on staff, that I was learning new things, that I was having to take on more that I didn't really know anything about, and having to grow into this process of, okay, it's not always going to look the way you want it to. It's not always going to be this beautiful, grandiose thing where there's all kinds of people. And so God was preparing me for some rough patches.
Man, you know, Shannon and I were talking the other day about Celebrate Recovery and about that very story of how large and robust it appeared to be and had so much momentum, and then gone.
Yeah.
And then 7 people, you know, in the parking lot and all that kind of stuff. And you know, and I think we were talking about just from what happened last Thursday night and the last couple of weeks, and just what God's doing in Celebrate Recovery. And I was telling her, I said, you know, nobody would have asked for that, and we sure didn't understand it when it was happening. But man, now you look back and you see this kill switch and a reboot that has become so fruitful now in that season. You know, and at that time, you think it's been destroyed. But waiting on God and being faithful, look where we are now. So it's just incredible. Somebody else, story.
Man, so many come to mind. You know, a lot of people in our church are familiar with the Walk to Remember event. That it's funny how like the Lord sort of put these two things together. But the lady that heads that event up had asked me a couple of years before it started happening at Liberty every November to be part of the music and just kind of like, you know, be part of the candlelight ceremony, things like that. And so I did it a couple of years before it came here, and then the event moved to Liberty. And I remember I was just kind of like taking a 15-minute coffee break, as I probably would have in the year 2022.
Surprise.
and as I have every year since 8 years old. No, but I was just taking a little rest in between song sets, and I remember sitting back in like at a little card table behind the stage, and I remember I just felt this sense that the Lord was going to lead me here, and I was just like, okay, you know, you're talking about the delay in the book of Daniel. It's like I didn't really talk to you till another year or two after that. And even there was just a strung together sort of events that led to us even meeting. And so I remember coming away from that moment thinking like, am I insane? You know, and I think a lot of times we feel that way, especially when the Lord makes us a promise or prompts something in our spirit. Like a lot of time can pass and a lot of life just happens. And we're like, what was that? You know? It was just such a cool thing. I mean, a lot of details that don't really have time to go into about how all that came to fruition, but it's pretty wild to look back and think, you know, just kind of like y'all were saying, as much as I really was excited about that notion and felt like the Lord was saying something really specific to me, I look back and I think had it happened right then, I probably wouldn't have been prepared for it. Probably wouldn't have had the character, the maybe emotional maturity. I don't know only the Lord knows why it took so many days and years and moments and seasons, all that kind of stuff to bring the present circumstances about.
And you mentioned the word seasons right there. And I'm sitting there thinking while you were telling that story, you know, every vision God gives you and leading that he has in your life, we want to go immediately to the harvest of that vision, right?
Yeah.
And if you go back to when Mike Blackaby was here, and if you haven't watched that message, I would encourage everybody to go back and watch the message on seasons. Every leading of God in your life has a progression of seasons. Yeah. Once he leads you to do something, which is really exciting, man, things are going to change. There's also a season of dormancy when the old begins to, there's still something to finish out, right? There's a time to till the soil in hard places because things don't grow in hard soil. So you got some work to do, man. You got that spring and the sun, you know, every even God's leading will take you through all the different seasons. Seasons are unavoidable. Something we talked about in Man Church, Ecclesiastes 3. There are certain things that don't happen in certain seasons. So even when God's leading you, there's still some things that you have to wait through. So Jody, about you, the story.
Kind of like you with the waiting even for here, but if you rewind our story a little bit more, Danny and I were in Kentucky and we loved Kentucky, and Mav was born in Kentucky, but Kentucky was hard physically for me. We had a really difficult pregnancy and different things. And so out of that, we needed to go heal. We needed to heal physically, mentally, just reconnect with God. And so we made the decision to move back to Florida and step out of ministry. And so when we did that, we were seeing these waves just crash everywhere on us, not literally in Florida, but just in the world around us. And we couldn't get a footing. So we were like, we need to go back, kind of just back to the beginning, back to where we feel like ourselves. So we went back to Florida and we started visiting a beach in Anna Maria called Still Waters. And it was really interesting. Like now that I'm just back thinking, I was like, oh my goodness. And so to leave Kentucky where we just felt the storm of everything going on around us to go to Florida and Still Waters. But it was a season of waiting because the best way I can compare it is, and I'm not a sports person, so just follow me, but like it felt like we kind of got put on the bench. We got taken out of the game. And our initial reaction was to get really mad at God. Why would you take me out? We were doing your work. We were doing so well. It's the other person's fault. And I feel like when the coach benches players, sometimes they start yelling and screaming at the coach and not thinking, okay, well, what did you do? What do you need to be taken away from? What are you needing to recognize?
And the parents
are
get
you
angry
yes,
too.
yes. Are you hurt?
Yeah.
Is this
More
a,
angry.
is this a compassionate move? Is this a, and so in Florida, we really had to heal physically and reconnect with God and get back to those things. And when that started happening, we started realizing like, oh, wait, the coach took us out because he needed us to still ourselves. He needed us to watch the game. He needed us to reconnect and listen to him. We were not being obedient. We just, at that point, said, we're mad at you, so we're not listening anymore. Even being in ministry, we said, we're mad, so, you let us down, you disappointed us. And so we took ourselves out. And Florida was a really good season to heal, but it was the hardest season of my life because we were benched. And after about 3 years, y'all, it was not a quick season. After about 3 years, Danny and I started talking again, and that's how even here came into place. But in that season, my aunt bought a cabin in LJ. Well, it was that cabin that opened the door for us to even start looking in Georgia. And so it was like God knew, hey, I need you to rest so I can put the next step into place. And if you're not going to listen to me, I'm going to take you out anyway.
How about that?
And so when we were in Florida, all that took place. But then, okay, great. Now we're hired in January. I'm under contract as a teacher, can't get to y'all until June. Great. They're not going to take me anymore. Once I tell them that, I'm out. And we had, you asked us, we had to seek after other people to come in the waiting period with us, to pray on our behalf when we felt frustrated, but to also remind us that God's not here for a list of what we need. We need to be listening to what he wants. And we kept going, okay, but it's for our good, right? That's what it says. And it's no, it's for my good. And so then Shane and them stepped in, and that provided that time period. Okay, well, now we get here and we don't have a house. And so then we had to wait and figure that out. Well, then Satan was like, great, I'm going to make you really annoyed and really frustrated and make you feel alone. No, we needed to wait for the other people. And that was a year process.
Yeah.
But God was moving in their life. So like you said, God was moving and answering prayers before we even knew to ask. He already had it set in motion. And we were terrible at waiting. We were really bad. And so he ignited a verse in my heart that I'd never known. Danny and I were going through Exodus, and we were going through Moses' story. And I've told you guys this before, but I never picked up on it when they got out of being slaves and got to the Red Sea to cross it. It was a huge miracle. And we kind of skipped the in-between. We skipped the comma, and we get to the big finale. And they had to camp. They had to wait there. And he said, I need your heart in this, but I also need to put other things in motion. And so they camped, and I never picked up on that word. And so I'll say it every week because I keep saying it. Y'all, the Bible is alive, and just keep reading it because everything is new and refreshed. And so we never picked up on that word camp before because we were like, okay, we don't have a house, we're going back home. Okay, we can't get a community, we're going back home. Like anything, we had a foot back. And that's what they were doing. They're like, we know what to expect back here, and we don't trust that our God is big enough to part this sea. And he goes, good, then you're going to camp until you make me bigger than your circumstance. And so I just encourage you, get in your word, get with people who will get there with you, who are going to remind you. Scott had to remind me this morning, just who's going to tell you the truth and not just tell you what you want to hear to make you feel better. Because you need truth more than you need lip service. Yeah. And you need to be reminded who you are and who God is. But anyway, I will say from Kentucky to now, that was 7 years. That was 7 years. And so it's unsettling. The waiting is unsettling, and you're going to want control, and you're going to be frustrated. So you need to surround yourself with people who are stable and who are going to keep pointing you back to.
So it's so cool listening to these stories because like, you made the reference to a waiting room earlier. I've never been in a waiting room where I was by myself.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, so many people are in that season of waiting. But look at every one of these stories, though. Like how the waiting turned into now a witness.
Yep.
Like, I mean, that's cool.
Man, so is it bad if I'm in a waiting room, people start coughing, I go stand outside?
You're a germaphobe.
That's
so
bad.
we expect that.
That messes up the metaphor, doesn't it?
You can camp, but you're just going to camp over there.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all
We'll
call me, I'm
isolate
out
you.
here.
Yes.
Right?
He's going to camp outside the camp.
There's always that mentally ill person that messes up the whole thing. That is me, man. That's good stuff. Well, hey, good place to end right here. So I hope that helps you in your waiting. Some good things to give you some instruction there. We'll see you right here next week live at Liberty.